And we are live. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Hope you guys are having a good evening so far. Looks like the audio and video is all good on my end. Everything's looking good. So, tomorrow's going to be quite a day. Going to be exciting, going to be fun. And I'm intrigued to see what this team has for us. Win or lose. I just want to see what they got. I don't think there's any doubt the team is happy to be here, but the team is also hungry for more. So, just want to sit down and talk about it for like an hour here. I already did the pregame video. I already did the pregame show. But I thought it would be fun to do one more pregame stream, just myself, because I don't know if we're going to get another game or not. So, may as well. So, welcome everybody. We already got 60 people in here. More people are going to pile in as we move along here. Couple of notes that I've seen over the last several hours since I posted that pregame video this morning. DJ Dallas is expected to play. That's the first notable thing, I think. DJ Dallas expected to play, according to Pete Carroll, which is big. However, we did call Tony Jones up from the practice squad. So that tells me we're prepared for the possibility of him not being able to go full bore. Mike McGee, thank you for the $2. If we beat San Fran, what should expectations become? I mean, the thing is, if we beat San Fran, yeah, you kind of have to reevaluate the team and how good they are and how much of a chance they have against opponent X or opponent Y. The other side of it would be the team would probably be exhausted mentally and physically from beating a team like the Niners. You know it's going to be a tough game. You know it's going to be a physical game. They might not have much left for a playoff game next week against a team that has basically been resting for a month. So, honestly, I would say that if we beat San Fran, we kind of need to see how we beat them. But offhand, I would expect, like, you look at that San Fran game, and then you look at the Philly game right after it, and you're looking at a Philly team that's basically been chilling for a month. And you're like, man, you're going to get their best shot probably. I mean, outside of the fact that Philly's not playing that well. But thank you, Mike McGee. I would say that at that point, I would say we're a really good team. But that situation where you've got a team that has been chilling for a month and a team that is probably exhausted because of that Niners game that is likely going to be a serious toll, it's just not going to be a full... it's just not going to be a full dish you're working with at that point. Okay, so other news would be we are calling up Cade Johnson and Alexander Johnson to the active roster for this game, it sounds like. Cade Johnson makes sense. He made a couple nice catches against the Rams. He's starting to ease his way into this offense. And Alexander Johnson also played a little bit against the Rams, seemed to do okay. And we need linebackers, so again, makes sense. That's really all the news I have. I have not heard anything further about Phil Haynes or Shelby Harris. But those guys, I really would like to have both. But it's possible that Phil Haynes wouldn't have played anyway. Maybe this is why we've been saving Gabe Jackson all year for a game like this, where he can just go all out for 60 minutes, do whatever he can, and then, maybe after this season he retires, and he's already thinking about that. Okay. That's really about all the news that I have concerning the Seahawks. Just those two little things. DJ Dallas playing is huge, I think. We needed a backup running back, but don't be surprised if Tony Jones gets in there at some point. All right. Nothing really from the Niners side. They're very healthy right now. The only real injuries they have of significance are in their secondary, and those guys have been out a while. Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley have both been out for a long time. So I'm not really thinking about that as being some massive deal. All right, we got over 100 people in the stream now, so I'm going to start opening it up to the chat. A couple things I want to get through first before we start. Please like the stream if you haven't already. We have 23 likes right now. It helps with engagement, helps with the algorithm. You can also subscribe if you are new and you want to see daily Seahawks content. I post, honestly, during the season, I'm posting at least 2 videos a day, almost always at least 3, sometimes as many as 5 or 6. During the off season, I'm going to be posting at least 1 video a day, I think, as well, maybe sometimes 2. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on this channel. And if we make some kind of playoff run, things are going to be popping off, absolutely. Whoa, hold on 1 second here. I didn't... Okay, there we go. You can also become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month by clicking the join button down below. Members get access to perks such as custom emojis in the chat, custom badges that that show up in comments and on stream, and you also get shouted out in video descriptions and video intros. I also take donations in mostly 2 formats. There are super chats. You can click the $ next to the chat. Super chat that way. The best way to support me is actually via tipping. If you want to tip, you click the link in the description, or you do !tip in the chat and click that link. And that's really about all we got. So let's just go ahead and open her up here. Jesse Lund, thank you for the $5. Let's get this W. I don't know what could be a better way to end the season than beating San Fran in the wild card when most peeps had us bottom 5. Go Hawks. I mean, there has to be something to this idea of it being hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. There just has to be. And I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Like when you think about it, you give that team a 3rd opportunity. You give that coaching staff a 3rd opportunity to figure you out. They've seen you for 120 minutes. They're going to start to figure some stuff out. And they're going to feel like they have nothing to lose. And that, I think there are some very valuable things in games like this. We are the team that has nothing to lose. The Niners have no draft picks next year, basically, except for whatever picks they get from D'Amico Ryans getting hired as a DC. Other than that, I don't think they have a single pick until day 3. So they have pressure on them to win now because they're not going to be able to do a lot to improve the team in the offseason. Now, we, on the other hand, we have a full allotment and then some of draft picks in this upcoming draft. We have tremendous draft capital. We have money. We have flexibility. And our window is clearly not open yet. So we have that going for us, the nothing to lose mentality. We also have the nobody believes in us mentality, where nobody really believes that we're going to win this game. And, you know, just this morning, I talked about this in a video today, not a single Seahawk made the All-Pro team. Not one. This is a playoff team, and we didn't have a single All-Pro. Now, there are only a couple guys on this team I thought could make All-Pro, Woolen and Myers, but maybe Dixon. I guess I would throw him in as the 3rd guy. But that has to mean something. That has to mean something, right? These guys are going to look at that, and they're going to note the disrespect. I have to believe it. Now, does that mean you're going to win? I mean, sometimes you're just outmanned, and it's very possible we end up outmanned in this game. I'm prepared for that possibility, but I'm also aware of all these extracurricular things that are kind of going in our favor. Mike McGee, thank you for the $2 super chat once again. This game almost feels like 2010 against the Saints. I think this Niners team is better than that Saints team, though. That Saints team did have problems. They were a wild card team for a reason. So I think this is a little different, but the general principle is right. Also, that 2010 Seahawks team was bad. Like, that team was bad. This Seahawks team is not bad. This Seahawks team is a little above average, I would say. Maybe they're average. They're somewhere around there overall. I'd say a little above average. The Seahawks team in 2010 was genuinely bad. This team is above average. Michael, I was thinking they may add a power back, and they did with Jones. Perhaps with a messy field, you probably are going to see some simple power runs. Well, DJ Dallas is kind of a power back, too. DJ Dallas can kind of do power stuff, too, which is why it's important that he's actually able to play in this game, which it looks like he will. But yeah, the stretch plays to K9 won't work as well. On this field, his greatest asset will be reduced, his speed. But honestly, K9's been running up the gut most of the season already, so it's not like it'll be anything new. The 2010 defense was really bad. The 2010 defense was really bad. I think it had the. In fact, I made a video about this earlier this week. It had the same ranking, 25th in the league. I'm starting to really want us to draft Charbonnet. Yeah, I like him a lot too. I would love to take him even in the second round, and a lot of people would not like that, but I would. Deleted. Thank you for the $1.99. Will this Cyclone send Purdy back to Cyclones? You know, I was thinking about that because Purdy played at Iowa State, and the weather in Iowa can get a little nutty sometimes. So it's not like he's never played in bad weather. I wonder how he played in those games. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but looking at him as a player, somebody who has no real arm, somebody who has a very weak arm, I would assume that weather would like destroy him because he can't push the ball at all. Also, the 49ers run a ton of counters and misdirection stuff could be difficult with a wet field. This these conditions are a real equalizer, Michael. You're absolutely right about that. This field is a big time equalizer, and that's why I think at the very least this game will be close. This game will be close because of that. I don't know if we'll win, but I no longer think that a blowout is likely just because of that. Well, Newgosh, the team in 2010 had an easy schedule too. They played in that terrible division. They got to play 6 games. Rams, 49ers, Cardinals. That schedule was pretty soft too. I know we got to play Denver that year. That was one of the worst teams in the league. I know we got to play. I think we played the Panthers that year, and that was the year they got the number 1 pick. That team had a weak schedule too. DK called this a revenge game. I know people are talking about Tyler. Well, the thing is, Renown, my concern with Tyler, and DK and really everyone else is just how many times are we going to throw the ball in these conditions? Like we really might just simplify the offense down a lot and pass the ball like 15 times. Kevin Mullen, thank you for the 4.99. We need to do cover 3 all game. Kneel in the box as a box safety, flat zone, and run support. If we succeed at this, we have a legit shot to win. Let's effing go. Yeah, I definitely want Neil to be in the box the whole game. I don't want to see Neil doing cover 2 stuff at all. Quandre Diggs can cover the deep stuff, and that should be good enough. Like, honestly, you could almost put 9 in the box, and I don't know what Purdy would do. He can't hit those throws under the best of conditions sometimes. So, yeah, I definitely want to see Ryan Neal in the box the whole game. I agree with that. PFF made Gino comeback player of the year. Yeah, I think he should win it from the AP, but it's going to be either him or C-Mac, right? Or maybe Saquon. If Saquon wins, it's because of the New York media, which, yeah, that's a real thing. But I think it should be either Gino or CMC. Yeah, is we have a puncher's chance. Turnovers will decide it. Yeah, there should be some crazy turnovers in this game, right? There should be some nutty turnovers where like the guy just drops the ball or the ball bounces up into the air off of 3 people and somebody catches it, right? There should be some of those. I would put Woolen on Kittle every third down. I mean, Woolen hasn't really done any traveling this year, so I don't know if this is the game to introduce it to him. Last time we played the Niners, Woolen got beat pretty badly for a touchdown. He blew a play. I don't want to make things harder for him, right? Hopefully, we don't have any injuries on the crap field. I mean, that's always the risk, right? But it's the risk for both teams, which is why I don't understand why these teams don't do something about it, man. How do you feel about drafting Miles Murphy and Trenton Simpson in the first round? I'm good with it. I don't have a big problem with that. I think we could do a little bit better, but that's fine. Do you have any surprise contributors to this game? I would go. I would say Cade Johnson, but Derek Young, for similar reasons, makes sense. Other than that, I wonder if Alexander Johnson gets some burn here. If either Cody, either Cody or Tanner just is not getting it done, and then we just decide, okay, enough of that. Enough of that. Brock Townsend, hey Brendan, any advice or strategy for Cody Barton tomorrow? Um, that's going to be interesting, right? Because Cody Barton has a lot of speed, but on a field like this, that speed gets neutralized a little bit. And Cody Barton, the problem with Cody is always just going to be he's terrible against the run. And I don't know if he's done a lot to overcome that recently, maybe a little bit, but in a game like this, Cody Barton could be a problem. Now, that's not me sticking up for Jordan Brooks. You guys know I don't really like Brooks that much, and I don't know if Brooks would help in a game like this either for other reasons, but I don't know about this linebacker core in this game. It's going to be really interesting to see if they hold up. We should draft Jordan Addison. I like Jordan Addison a lot. He's my favorite receiver in this draft right now. Derek Young needs more jet sweeps. Somebody needs more jet sweeps. Would you rather play the Vikings or 49ers in the wild card? I mean, in the sense that I don't think this team would be likely to beat anybody, I guess I'd rather play the Niners just because it kind of feels like you don't have a good chance either way. At least let's play your rival. Or, on the other hand, I mean, I honestly think, God, I mean, the way the Vikings have played this year, you really could have beaten them, I guess, even if you play badly. And the Niners just seem like a terrible matchup. I don't know. I'm not really thinking about it. I got to be honest. Like, we're playing the Niners. We're not playing the Vikings. Who cares now? Thoughts on Jalen Carter having fitness issues? No, that's just stuff that people start talking about. That's stuff people start talking about because they have nothing else to talk about in the offseason. Jalen Carter is a kid, all right? Jalen Carter is a kid. Of course, he has conditioning issues. He's living his best life over in Georgia for the 2X national championships. No, I don't think any receiver is going to have a monster game in this game. I don't think we're going to throw the ball that much. I think we're going to take it easy. I don't know if any offensive player is going to have a big game in this game just because of the nature of this game. He said he had issues in April and didn't fix it by the end of the season. Yeah, he's still in college. When he gets to the pros and he's able to make hundreds of millions of dollars, it'll be different. Or it should be. If we make it past the 49ers, do you see Penny returning? I feel like we would have heard about it. I'm still not hearing anything about it. So I can't really think about it that much. To me, it seems like him and Jamal, it's just like people are just waiting for them to start playing. I'm waiting for them to practice. DK was fit as a bull in college. Well, there's another guy who didn't have big production in college. And not every player is the same. Some players are not going to start taking things as seriously as they need to until they get to the NFL. And by the way, you should be rotating your defensive linemen anyway. You shouldn't be asking Jalen Carter to play 80% of the snaps. Do you think we should run hurry up offense, no huddle? Not really. I don't feel some burning need for that Dak swag. I'd say we completely erase those bubble screens from the playbook. Maybe until next year, man. Next year we get a new center, a new right guard. Maybe they play a little bit better in space. Maybe we can run those plays a little better. Right now, you've got some offensive linemen that move pretty well, but others who really don't, and it's hard to make it work. Was there any chance the NFL was going to move the game because of the weather? No, they don't really do that. They don't do that. DJ Stroud might return to college. I did see that. Daniel, that's a terrible idea. Do not bring that on my stream ever again. You're going to end up trading probably with two teams who end up picking in the 20s anyway. Like, we got very, very, very lucky that we traded with Denver and Denver ended up being atrocious. Most of the time, you do end up with a situation like the Lions last year where they got the last pick in the first round. Hey, Ryan Snags. Like, just because a couple of teams did well this year with that trade, where you got the Eagles picking pretty high, you got the Lions picking high, and us picking high off of trades, like, those two first rounders next year, if they're like, 19 and 24 or something, awful. No. Absolutely not. I'm not interested in endlessly chasing around. It's like, I'm not going to chase around one player. Besides, if CJ Stroud doesn't declare in this draft, I don't even think he's QB1 next year. QB1 is going to probably be Caleb Williams still. They'll look at him and see, oh, he's CJ Stroud with mobility. If Levis is there at 5, would you pick him? I don't know if he's my first choice, but I would be totally fine with that. If you're moving off Geno, I think that Levis is totally workable. I like him a lot. Do you think there's a chance in the next few years of winning a Super Bowl without any major coaching changes? Yeah, I guess. I mean, you're going to have to nail a couple of off seasons, but it can happen. Yeah, the wind doesn't look terrible, but it's going to affect the game. I mean, I really like CJ Stroud. I don't think it's a terrible idea to try to get CJ Stroud, but I really don't like the idea of saying we have a top 5 pick. We have mana from heaven. Let's spit that mana from heaven out onto the floor and try to trade with another couple of teams and get picks in the future that are probably going to be in like the 20s. Like, I think that's just like basically looking a gift horse in the mouth and then like sticking your head into the horse's mouth until it like bites your head off. Do you see Will Anderson dropping to 5? I could. 3 quarterbacks go. Jalen Carter goes to the Cardinals. Will Anderson's there at 5. Yeah, that's possible. I think the Cardinals need Jalen Carter more than Will Anderson, if I had to guess. But is CJ Stroud really stupid enough to not go to the pros when he's guaranteed a top 5 pick? Like, I know he's young, but next year you're not even going to be QB1 probably, even if you have a good year. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is probably a better prospect than CJ. Everybody's going to play the comparison card with Caleb and Mahomes. Apparently, he has to declare by the 16th, which is what, Monday? Jeez. Yeah, CJ could fall to us, Azan, but it would require the teams in front of us to value other quarterbacks much more, which is, I think, unlikely. I think CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in this class, and I think most teams think that as well. Do you think AR-15 would be there at our second pick? I think he would be the snail, but I don't really want him at our second pick. I don't want to draft a player who wasn't even good in college in the first round. Like, that's Kyle Bowler stuff, oh, the guy's a bad college football player, but he's got talent, so let's spend a first round pick on him. No, those guys you spend like at best a second round pick on, I think. Yeah, he might be behind Drake May. He might be behind Quinn Ewers, depending on what Quinn Ewers does. Quinn Ewers, I think, is a tremendous prospect. He just needs to put it together for a year. Hendon Hooker would be all right in the third round, Dak Swag. I wouldn't hate that. The only problem is he tore his ACL, and his game does depend a little on athleticism. Micah, I did not read the article, but look, there are a lot of options the Seahawks have this offseason. There are a lot of options. A lot of options. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about the option of letting Geno go and looking for a new QB. Yeah, and what if CJ Stroud tears his ACL next year? What if he's not even a first round pick? I mean, it's not as dumb as what Lamar Jackson did this year, but it's pretty bad. How do we stop Kittle? He can be their way out with short passes if we stack up against the run. Well, there's no guarantee you'd be able to stop him even if he was. So you just kind of got to live with it and hope things don't punish you. At the end of the day, he's a really good player. Thoughts on the 2021 draft class? What about it, Dylan? Like our picks? I mean, it looks like a wasted class. I like Trey Brown, but I don't think he has a place on this team anymore. If we were to trade Geno, what kind of value do you think we get? Either like a late first rounder or a second and third. It's going to be kind of what Carson Wentz was worth when he got traded from Philly to Indy. It should be somewhere around there. I think a team will be dumb enough to give Lamar a bunch of money. I think like the Jets might just be desperate. I could see the Jets just being like, we have everything except the quarterback. This is our chance to get a super talented quarterback. We are the worst QB drafting team in NFL history. Like, think about what the Jets have done in the draft over the last 20 years at the quarterback position. Not just bad quarterbacks, but historically bad quarterbacks. Like guys who get memed endlessly, like Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Mark Sanchez, Hackenberg. Um, it's been really bad. They need to stop drafting quarterbacks. Dak swag, probably tacos. Yeah, I know. I've heard that DVN, but at the end of the day, you know, you play the hand you're dealt. Yeah, Chad Pennington was the last good quarterback they drafted. Everybody else is just like, I think there might have been a guy I even forgot somewhere, and they're like, I think they drafted Bryce Petty. Now, you never expected him to be good, but they can't get out of their own way. Jonathan, thank you for the $2. He may not be perfect, but Pete is a winner. He's got a lot of wins. Oh, and by the way, Micah Kiali, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think I remember seeing you in the streams a lot a long time ago, and then I haven't seen you in like a year, so welcome back. Hope you're doing well. If I'm remembering correctly, which I think I am. Let's see here. Any update on DJ Dallas? Apparently he's going to play, but we are calling up Tony Jones, so we must be aware of the possibility that we will need a third running back in this game. I mean, both of our running backs are playing with an injury. That's not great. We've got Ken Walker with the ankle and DJ Dallas with his quadricep. Like, I mean, everybody's dinged up right now, but those guys are actually showing up on the injury report. Oh, Mike McGee, you heard about Shelby Harris? Where'd you hear that? I haven't heard anything about Shelby yet. I'm going to have to look for that later, but where'd you hear that? What wildcard game do you feel most excited for? I mean, it has to be our game, right? Just by default. I think Giants-Vikings will probably be a really, like, interesting, compelling game. I don't know which way that's going to go. Locked on Seahawks? Okay. Hopefully they know what's up. I think Shelby's going to play either way, personally, because this is the first ever playoff game he's played in, and he was, you know, there was talk this week about how excited he was. Okay, Micah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I remember you from a long time ago, and I hadn't seen you in a long time, and I was like, I think I know that name because it's a really distinctive name, right? Yeah, Ken Walker might tote the rock like 30 times in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be upset about it. It's the playoffs. It's time to put a big load on somebody's shoulders if that's what you need to do. How do you feel about signing Geno for 2 to 3 years while drafting a QB for him to coach up? I don't think you can do both unless the quarterback is like in the third round. Like if you get to the third round and you've got Geno on a big deal, and then Hendon Hooker's there, like that might be okay. But 3 years is a long time for a quarterback to sit on the bench. 3 years is a long time for a QB to be sitting on the bench after even a third round pick. No, pretentious. My understanding is that there's a 100% chance of rain. Seahawks just opened the 21-day practice window for Jamal Adams. Okay, so basically, if we make the Super Bowl, Jamal Adams will probably be able to play in it. Okay. So those are the stakes here. Yeah, Rodgers was on the bench for 3 seasons. That was an extreme circumstance. All right, guys, I'm going to take a short break, just a couple minutes here. I'll be right back. Everyone just chill out. I'm going to go on Be Right Back, and we'll talk about the game for another half hour. Okay, we are back. Would Gino's deal be that big? If he wants it to be big, it can be. He had a really good year. He threw 30 touchdowns. He led the league in completion percentage. Um, QB rating over 100. Like, if he wants to get like 35 million a year, I think he can get it. Now, maybe he won't ask for it for some reason, but I would expect him to. William Leonard, thank you for the $10. All right, custom GIF and sound clip go. Very cool. All right, that's one thing I forgot to mention. Tips or super chats of exactly $10, $9, and $7 trigger custom emojis and custom audio clips. William Leonard, thank you for the $10. We didn't use all of Waldron's playbook last year, and now we are this year. Do you think we'll embrace more of the Fangio defense next year if we have the talent? That's kind of the interesting question, right? Because you know Pete is the defensive guy and he loves his defense. Does he just completely hand the defense over to someone else? You wouldn't think so, because that's the stuff that he loves. But it's not sustainable like this. It's not. Where you're doing half Fangio stuff and half cover 3 stuff, it doesn't make any sense. So either they're going to completely dump it or commit to it, I would hope. And I would think, just on some base level of like expecting common sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. I watch a little bit of the Pat McAfee show, Dax. Not a lot. I think we're going to bring Drew Lock back, Matthew. I think we're going to bring Drew Lock back in 2023. He's going to be cheap, going to be easy to keep around. And look, it's possible he ends up being the starter if Gino goes elsewhere. I think that's at least one path. And it's not a path I dread. It's going to be probably a not very good year, but okay. That's fine. You're saving your money and you're getting ready for the next quarterback. I can't wait. Cheering here from Brazil. Nice. Hey, Jorge, what's up? Hey, Saigon. I think AR-15 is pretty good value in the second. He's very talented. I can't take anything away from him in terms of his talent. It's just one of those things where he sucked in college. He was genuinely a bad quarterback in college. It's like It would be like it's the Kyle Bowler thing all over again. Kyle Bowler sucked in college, but he had a big arm, so somebody drafted him in the first round. I want to see you actually play good in college for at least a year, even if I believe that your ceiling is higher than what you showed in college. I want to at least see you play good. Benson DeWalt, thank you for the $1.99. Let's muddy up this game. Send the Niners home. I mean, that's an appropriate way to put it. Apparently, the Niners have not played in a rain game since week 1, or maybe it was week 2. Because when we played the Niners week 1, I feel like there was rain. Matthew, I don't know very much about the John Kitna arrest. Shout out Brazil. Yeah, shout out Brazil. No, JJE, I'm not streaming during the game. I am going to be occupied watching it with my family, and that's something that I value. So I will not be streaming this game. There was a time when I thought I was going to be able to, but no, it's not going to happen. Jeff Lowe, thank you for the member message. Member for 15 months. Thanks for all the excellent content. Go Hawks. No problem, Jeff. Thank you for the member message. Thank you for being a member. Whoa. Disgusting. Sorry. 15 months. This is our second Super Bowl. I mean, that's a valid point, right? That's a very valid point, 2A3. It is like another Super Bowl. I still think the Denver win this year was the peak of the season. I don't know if that's going to change after tomorrow, but I'm good with it. Are you live streaming tomorrow? I will be streaming after the game. Whatever happens, I will do a stream after the game. Probably what's going to happen is after the game's over, I'm going to shoot my post-game video, upload it, maybe go eat something. Maybe I'll eat during the game and then not have to eat. And then after my post-game video's been up for at least like half an hour, maybe a little bit more, I will go live with the post-game stream and stream until the end of the... what's the night game? What's the night game? It's, shoot. It's not Bills-Dolphins. It's... Shoot. Why can I not remember what the night game is? Jaguars, thank you. That's actually going to be kind of fun. That game could go either way. Would you want to trade for Jordan Love or Trey Lance if they became available? I don't like Jordan Love. I do like Trey Lance. I would trade for Trey Lance. Assuming he's cheap. But the thing is, the Niners aren't really going to trade with you, right? That would be kind of weird. And I'll also say this. If the Seahawks win, I might do a watch-along stream of Giants-Vikings. If the Seahawks lose, I'll do a watch-along stream of Cowboys-Buccaneers. So one way or the other, I should be doing one more watch-along stream this weekend. And after this weekend, either way, whatever watch-along streams I do will be on Twitch. Because I want to be playing games while I'm watching the game and while I'm streaming it. Saigan, thank you for the $2.50. I call for an upset at Levi Stadium, 23-21 Hawks. Man, 23-21, 40, yeah, that's 44 points. That's a lot of points for these conditions, but maybe, we'll see. We'll see. By the way, speaking of Twitch, after this stream is over, which I'm going to end it in about 20 minutes here, I will be going live on Twitch. So for those of you out there who do not know I have a Twitch, I'm going to go ahead and link it. I'm going to be doing Zelda Breath of the Wild tonight. While I have like 240 people in here, I'll just quickly plug my Twitch. Head over there, give me a follow. And I basically stream on Twitch every night. These days, I very rarely miss a stream of a streaming night. And right now we're doing Zelda Breath of the Wild. And tonight I'm going to try to get the Master Sword. So if that sounds intriguing to you, head on over there. And we will be talking about like football stuff too. Probably all night, because all anybody's going to want to talk about is the Seahawks-Niners game, because it's tomorrow. But I just wanted to let everybody know that especially during the off season, when you guys are going to see a lot less of me on YouTube, because it's the off season and I'm posting like a video a day, maybe two. There are going to be a lot of Seahawks conversations. on Twitch. And I won't be doing as many live streams on YouTube because there won't be things going on. I'll be streaming a lot during the free agency and draft. Other than that, it's mostly just going to be the streams with the Hawks Nest. When we drafted this year, did you know this class would be impactful right away? Would be this impactful? Well, not this impactful, no. Like, there's no way I thought Woolen was going to even play this year. I didn't think Woolen was going to do anything this year. So that alone, yeah. Thank you, Cheery Cheery. Music Kingdom, what position do you think has a higher importance to address this offseason, guard or center? Oh, center. Center. Right guards are easy. You can find a right guard anywhere for cheap. Center, little bit harder. So center. Honestly, if we ran it back next year with Phil Haynes at right guard, it wouldn't be good, but it wouldn't be terrible. That would be, like, workable, I think. I could live with that, you know? Because right guard, if everybody else around him is good, which is probably going to be the case, the right guard being not very good is something you can easily just hide. This game is all about being able to run the ball and keep up with them physically. I agree. Going to be a lot of running the ball. A lot of handoffs. Gino's going to have to run a little bit too. Aguilar, what do you expect from Tyreek Smith next year? Not really much. He's already got bad hips. He's got the bad hips, and to me, as an edge rusher, that already kind of means you're in trouble. Rookies are 1-9 in their first playoff start. Yeah, I do know that rookie QBs usually don't win their first playoff game, but guys, there are, circumstances here. Brock Purdy barely has to do anything for that team to win most of the time. They have the best defense in the league by far, and they have an elite running game. Reaper, thank you for the member message. Member for 15 months. Hell of a year. Can't wait for next season. Yeah, next season is where the money could be getting made here. I don't know, but it's very possible next year would be special. Besides our game, what game do you think is most likely to end in an upset? Maybe Giants-Vikings. It doesn't even feel like an upset, though. Those teams feel kind of even. I think the Vikings will win, though, so I would say that one. Any wide receiver 3 option you were thinking of this free agency? I would be totally happy bringing Goodwin back, but other than that, Zach Pascal would be cheap, not crazy production or anything, but workable, functional, something like that. You think DK does better next season? I mean, this offense is not the best offense for DK, but I would say he does a little bit better because Lockett will probably fall off a little bit due to age. So I would say yes. Can we consider Eskridge a bust yet? Yes. Yeah. I'm Eskridge is out of mind, out of sight for me. Michael Schmitz with the first, second round pick, or Luke Whippler with a third round pick? I don't know much about Whippler. I haven't looked at him that much yet. I know John Michael Schmitz is the best center in this draft, though. So I would probably say him, but that's just because I haven't looked at Whippler that much. We need another route running threat like Lockett. Yeah. That's why I'm not against drafting somebody like a Jordan Addison. I know people are going to be like, we don't need a receiver if we draft Addison, but I like Addison, and I think that he would add a lot. Would you take Hyatt with your second round pick? Which one's Hyatt? God, who's Hyatt? I know that name. Oh yeah, the Tennessee receiver. I'm open to it. I'm not against it. I don't think Puna's going to be back. Puna's a free agent, and he doesn't really fit this defense, and he didn't have a very good year. I don't think he's going to be back. Cheery, cheery. No, not really. Jalen Carter just needs to get better conditioning, which is easy for him to get when he gets into the NFL. I'm not worried about Jalen Carter at all. If we can take him, I'm all over it. Hey, Addison, what's up? Henry, I don't know if optimistic is the right word I have for Derek Young, but it's a little exciting. There's something there. There's a skill set there that not a lot of people have. But I understand that it's still unlikely that he becomes a big time player. Yeah, DK could get a 1,200-yard season especially if Lockett slips a little bit. Thing is, it's not really an offense that caters super well to DK's skill set because Geno doesn't have an amazing deep ball. His deep ball is pretty good, but it's not what DK is necessarily all about. Any interest in taking a corner in the first round? No, not really. Seahawks seem really hyped about this game. I mean, look, I'm hyped about this season. I'm hyped about this season overall. So, getting to the playoffs and getting to play this extra game is like a reward. Now, I'm going to maintain what I've said for a while now. I don't really expect us to win, but it doesn't really matter that much at this point to me. How much longer do you think Lockett can keep up this incredibly high level of performance? I mean, he probably can for a little bit longer because he doesn't take a lot of hits, but I think the issue with Lockett would just be the fact that the reason why he plays the way he plays is that he knows a couple of hits and he's gone. So that could be the concern. But in terms of like a slow drop off, I don't know if I see that. What you're probably going to see from him is he starts missing a few games a year, if I had to guess. Think Russ will be watching our game from Denver? I'm sure he would. I mean, who cares, honestly? Like, that's such a irrelevant thing for us at this point. So irrelevant if Wilson's watching our game, so whatever. There's a pretty big logjam for wide receiver Hall of Fame. I agree we need to draft a wide receiver this year. I would definitely draft one somewhere. I don't know how high, though, but I'm open to just about anything. Yeah, guys, Wilson doesn't matter anymore. He already helped us out about as much as he could. It's still kind of interesting because what's going on in Denver right now is such a disaster, but it's not like we have any stake in it anymore. I keep getting the comment every now and then, by the way. Somebody's like, don't forget, we have Denver's first round pick in 2024, too. No, why do you think that? No, stop thinking that. No, I would cut Eskridge. There's no way he's worth a pick. There's no way he's worth a pick. You would just cut Eskridge, and I would be okay with cutting Eskridge. Michael, apparently his practice window has opened, so Jamal Adams could be back in like maybe 2 weeks, more likely 3. Damn. Look, guys, here's the thing. Ryan Neal's been playing really well this year, okay? There's no point in putting Jamal Adams out there at like 60 or 70% if you have Ryan Neal. Just play Ryan Neal. He's played really well this year. I know he's not as good as Jamal Adams. He's absolutely not as good as Jamal Adams. But he's definitely better than Jamal Adams at 60 or 70%. Ryan Neal was probably our best overall player on defense this year. I think Goodwin will be re-signed. Puna will be let go. Irvin will retire. And I think we're going to give Adams one more year to see what's up. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. And you move on at that point. People thought it's a rebuilt year, but our roster is better than last year and we have a better QB. Yeah, but everyone is surprised that we have a better QB. Everyone is surprised that Geno's better than Wilson. and our roster is filled with rookies. Like, typical common knowledge is that if you're starting a lot of rookies, you're going to lose a lot of games. So maybe the roster is better overall still, but there was supposed to be a significant downgrade from Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell to Charles Cross and Abe Lucas, and there wasn't really. I think Cross played about as good as Brown did, maybe a little bit worse, and Lucas played better than Shell ever had, or at least as good, very close. So that's something that no reasonable person could have expected. Well, JB, that's a really weird jump in logic to make. I don't know why people would see that and assume, like, oh, I don't. Oh, Pete obviously doesn't care about this playoff game, his first playoff game in 2 years. Oh, yeah, Goodwin's old, but we only need him for like one more year anyway, right? Like, we don't need him for the long term. We're not going to give him a monster deal. I actually do think Lockett will retire a Hawk if you look at it. Like, by the time this contract has 1 year left, he probably just takes like a little contract to wrap things up. There's not going to be a big market out there for him at that point. So I feel like Lockett will retire with us, yeah. Hey guys, gonna stream for about another 8 minutes here, and then I'm gonna hop on over to Twitch. And again, I'm gonna let everybody know that if you want to continue the conversation, we can basically do so over on Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming Breath of the Wild for probably about 4, 5 hours tonight at least. So we can definitely have fun conversations over there. So I'm gonna post the link one more time. Hop on over there, give me a follow, and you can watch me play Zelda. And there's going to be some really exciting stuff on the Twitch channel this year, by the way, just so you guys know. I'm planning on streaming probably 10 or 11 games at launch this year, which I never do normally. Usually I always play these old games or these retro games or indie games or like weird games. But I'm actually going to be streaming some games at launch this year. Franchise tag Gino and draft Richardson to sit for a year. I'm okay with that, but I think he would have to sit 2 years. Richardson's very, very raw. How much would I be willing to trade to move up and draft CJ Stroud? Uh I don't think I'm really willing to do it. I don't think any trade I'd be willing to offer would be interesting to anybody. I don't want to let go of any of those first or second round picks. There are too many needs, and there are other paths we can take. Yeah, Gavin, I'm going to play Jedi Survivor at launch unless it gets killed by critics, which it won't. Like, there's no way they screw that game up. But, yeah, I'm doing Jedi Survivor. Going to do Dead Space. I'm going to do Resident Evil 4 at launch. I'm doing Fire Emblem in a week. Fire Emblem comes out next week. I'm going to play that at launch. I'm going to be doing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I'm going to be doing, shoot, there were a couple others. Maybe Dead Island 2. Thoughts on BJ Ojulari? Really like him. Haven't had a big chance to look at him yet, but he seems okay. From what I've seen, he seems all right. I'm not against it. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people in the chat are asking about Norbcam. Norbcam got hacked. His channel got deleted, and I think he'll get it back, but it's a huge pain for him right now. He should be making videos right now and making money. Like, this is his job, and he can't, and that sucks. Are you going to do Starfield? Probably. The problem with Starfield is I know it's going to be completely unplayable at launch. Like, it's going to be a disaster, and you're just going to have to deal with it for probably a couple months. but everybody's going to be streaming Starfield at the start. So I kind of want to get in on it. People keep talking about Rashee Rice, the Seahawks time. I have not had much of a chance to look at him yet, but a lot of people have been talking about Rashee Rice, so I am open to the conversation. Okay, guys, 5 minutes left approximately on the stream. You guys have been a really good audience. If Carter, Anderson, or Stroud gone, might trade back in a little. I'm not against the idea of a trade back, especially if you find the team that really likes Will Levis and wants to trade up for him. See you later, Micah. I don't know how to pronounce all that. Better to go QB or the best DL available at 5? I mean, it depends on what you do with Geno, is the thing. Like, you pick a path with Geno, and then that path determines your path in the draft. I don't see how anybody could blame the weather on us beating the Niners when Geno's always kind of played shaky in the rain. Opinion on selecting Tyree Wilson? I'm down with it, Leaf. Tyree Wilson looks very, very fun. And I didn't like him at all at first. He reminded me of LJ Collier, but I looked a little bit more into it, and now I can see it, you know? Isaiah Foskey? Yeah, Foskey's intriguing for sure. He might be my number 2 edge. I think it goes Will Anderson and then Foskey because I don't think Murphy is an edge. I think Murphy's a down lineman. That's the thing. There are some of these guys that are being evaluated as edge rushers, but I think they're going to end up on the defensive line. Like, I think Murphy will end up as a defensive lineman. What do you think about Carr? I mean, Carr, he's not that good. He was good once upon a time, but that was a long time ago. I'm not that interested in Carr personally. Oh, Wavy, he changed his username to something else. He still comes around here pretty often, but he's not called Brendan Nelson Haircut anymore. I think eventually he realized that my haircuts are actually really boring. Yeah, exactly, Iden. That's what I see Miles Murphy as. He'd be like like Shelby Harris, like the good Shelby Harris who got 8+ sacks a year. I think he could be like that. Hey, Caleb, what's up? Where will Peyton end up? I think he's just going to coach the Saints again. I think he's just going to coach the Saints again. He's just going to go back after they cleaned their cap situation out and be like, okay, Dennis Allen is terrible. I'm back. PretentiousCameron, thank you for the member message. Go Hawks, thanks for streaming. No problem, Pretentious. No problem whatsoever. I will be streaming again tomorrow, by the way. I know that's probably pretty obvious. But win or lose, I'll be streaming. Would you trade a third or fourth for Grady Jarrett from Atlanta? That might not be bad. The thing is, he'll be expensive, and that'll bite into your free agency money. I'm just going to have beef tacos tomorrow, I think. That's the plan right now. Uh, well, a big reason why they're 19th in pass defense refund HD is because they're playing from ahead so much, the other team has to keep throwing. John Michael Schmitz is the best center in this draft, I think. Like, don't forget that factor. It's easier to throw the ball when you're playing from behind and you have to. Like, you're eventually going to have some success throwing the ball. Hey, Donnie, what's up? What game has the clearest winner this weekend? Is it the Bills beating Miami? Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Either that or the Bengals with, they're playing against Anthony Brown. That might be really clear cut, too. The Ravens literally down to their third string quarterback. It's one of those two. What's the max per year you'd be willing to offer to re-sign Geno? Probably $35 million a year. 3 years, $35 million a year. That's about as far as I go. I think he will be better next year with an extra year of experience and a slightly better team around him. Oh, maybe Iden. I mean, that game, the thing is, we don't really have. Who's our Clowney? A guy who can just completely take over and dominate a game like that. Like, that's the thing with Clowney, right? He doesn't always show up like that, but when he does, it's like, holy crap. We don't really have anybody on the defense who can dominate like that. Like, Nwosu isn't like that. Taylor's not like that. I think that's the thing we're missing here. A guy who can just take over and dominate. Thank you, Westman. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and head on out here. Again, give me like 15 minutes and I'll be live on Twitch. Zelda Breath of the Wild is the date tonight. And I will be trying to get the Master Sword. Okay. So, hope to see you guys later. I will be streaming tomorrow after the game. Keep an eye out for it all. Go Hawks. See you guys soon.